I am fixing it and making a different story. That is like my literal story if I was literally in Naruto. This is like a pre-story for like what I'd like to happen. So, me and Naruto are both gonna have the Nine Tails. So, I'm gonna explain how Kushina and Minato will survive. So, when the Nine Tails is about to kill Minato and Kushina with that big strike, Christian starts to cry very, very loud, and then out of nowhere, six black orbs come in front of Minato and Kushina and create a force field, and create like a barrier and blocks the Nine Tails strike, breaking off its nail, blocking it, so then he can get off the 8 trigram seal. Then Minato and Kushina would be back to life, because then they'd try and reverse the seal, and Minato would use the release. Third Hokage would do his best, and then finally get them out of the trance, Minato out of the Reaper Death Seal. Also, Minato would use Sage Mode, because then I don't see him beating Toby fast enough to fight off the Nine Tails. So Christian and Naruto are given the Nine Tails, and Naruto and Karuto think that they're demons. Christian always has these black orbs around him for some reason, and he doesn't know how to use them. And he's got some weird thing. And he's got something weird on both of his hands. He's got a seal. It doesn't look like it looks like a sun on his hand and a moon on his other hand. And I'm not gonna say that he's both I'm gonna say that he's not both reincarnations. I'm gonna say that Hagoromo can appear. He's the reincarnation of Hagoromo. That's why he has both seals. I'm not gonna make Christian overpowered AF. So he is bullied a lot by his sister and brother, because with his terrible chakra control, he cannot even use a single jutsu. And he doesn't ever have anyone to talk to. And then he gets really, really sad. Kushina and Minato is usually very busy with his Hokage work, and the only person who sometimes stands up for him is Kakashi when they're out sometimes. And Christian usually hangs out with Kakashi since he's really nice. And sometimes when Kakashi is leading teams, is like doing a bell test, Christian watches and studies what Kakashi does. Even getting his own kind of book. It's not Make Out Paradise, don't worry, it's not. He's underage. He's got his own book. A shinobi history book, and he reads through it almost every time he watches. And he also's got a notebook to write down what Kakashi does. Every day he reads over him and then watches. Even still having a couple of bruises on his body because of Naruto and Karuto. Remember, Karuto is the brother, and Naruto, who has blonde hair, is the sister. One day, it goes too far. Naruto tries to burn his shinobi notes that he gets off Kakashi. And one day, the beatdown goes too far when they bully him. She pulls out a kunai and slashes his eye. And then, when they go to the academy sometimes, almost every boy in the class likes her, so they always help her out bullying him, along with Naruto. One day, after he's beaten down a lot, he'd appear in his psyche, in his mindscape. Out of nowhere, a figure appears. It says, "Hello, young man. May you come here?" Christian scaredly walks up to him. He looks and he sees somebody with these black orbs around him and a staff. His skin color is like a grayish brown color, and he's got purple eyes. He says, "Who are you?" He says, "I am Hagoromo Otsutsuki." Christian says, "Hold up, wait a minute." He says, "Wait a minute, you're the Sage of Six Paths." He says, "Right." And he says, I have reincarnated into you, and I need to talk to you, because and I will give you slight training, because I don't want to sit here letting my reincarnation be beaten up. So I'm going to help you." When Kurama looks and says, "Old man?" He says, "Oh, Kurama, hello." And they get along very well. Christian only learning ninjutsu training, learning a couple of techniques. He doesn't use them at all because he's not good at them because of his terrible chakra control. The Sage of Six Pack says that we'll meet soon again, and disappears. And when Christian comes back from his mindscape, he's at home. Then he goes over and says hi to Kushina. She says, "Oh, hello." He says, "I met someone today." She says, "Oh, who?" He says, "It's in my mind. It was in my mind, though." She says, "Who was it?" Christian says his name was Hagoromo Otsutsuki. She says, "What? Hagoromo Otsutsuki?" She instantly calls Minato home. He says, "Yes." She says that Christian talked to someone in his mind named Hagoromo Otsutsuki, and she says, "Isn't that the Sage of Six Paths?" He says, "Yes, that is the name, but that could have been just a dream." She says, "Yeah, but that is an odd occurrence." Well, she doesn't call him home, actually. He comes home and says that it's an odd occurrence. That usually doesn't happen. Oh, and out of nowhere they hear a scream from Naruto's room. They walk in to see Naruto being kicked around by Naruto and Karuto. Christian says, "Stop," and puts his foot down, saying, "That's it, you guys are done for." She says, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" He says, "This is what I'm gonna do." He puts his hand out, and out of nowhere the true Seeking Orb comes into his hand and turns into a staff. He goes and spins it around, saying, "If you don't come, I'll turn you into dust." They get scared and run out of the room. He does, and then the true Seeking Orbs disappear again. She says, "Whoa!" He says, "Whoa, what were those things?" Christian says, "I don't know." When Minato and Kushina saw that, they said, "What the?" And they said, "That's the thing that saved us from the Nine Tails." And Karuto and Naruto are always like, "Why do you favor Christian the most?" She says, "We don't favor him. He's probably the nicest out of all of you to us. He doesn't call us old geezer and stuff. I don't Lee." And Naruto says that she wants the truth, why they always do it. And Kushina, Minato tell Naruto, Karuto, and Naruto the reason why they're nice to him a lot. She says, "Why are you so nice to?" Karuto says, "Why are you so nice to them? They're demons." She says, "You may think that they are, but it's just sealed in them. They don't know that." She says, "Also, the reason why we love him a lot too, the same as you guys, is because he saved us from dying when he was literally just born." They say, "What do you mean?" Kushina says, when the Nine Tails was about to stab us through our stomachs, three black black orbs came from him. 6 black orbs came and formed a shield that blocked the attack. Enough time for Minato to get the seal in. So that's why. But you're right, we have been a lot nicer. We'll treat him just like you guys are, but we still all love you equally. 10 years later, there were 6 back then. Now no, not 10. There were actually 3 back then. 10 years later, they're 13 at the academy. Christian is very strong, probably a prodigy. He knows how to do that. Everything is pretty normal, though. Hagoromo says that Hagoromo usually talks to Christian sometimes. He doesn't train him. Alright, let's just say Christian doesn't get trained by him. He just has someone to talk to whenever he's lonely. Because sometimes the fox doesn't want to talk to him. So he usually talks to the Sage of Six Paths. When Christian is talking to Hagoromo in class, from the Mindscape, he's talking and Iruka calls on him. Christian doesn't answer. He yells and says, "Answer me!" He doesn't listen and looks at Christian's eyes and says, "Why are his eyes pitch black?" Not like his entire eyes, like his pupils are black. He says, Hagoromo says, "I think someone's calling you." He goes, "Oh, flip!" He says, "Flip, it's Saruka-sensei." Then he gets out of his Mindscape and he yells, "Wake up!" Christian hears, he says, "I'm up, okay? I wasn't even sleeping. How could I sleep with my eyes open? You're pretty dumb, aren't you?" He goes, "Oh, really?" Christian says, "Yeah." Christian says, "I was in my Mindscape, okay? I was talking to someone. Now, if excuse me, I am going back to my conversation." And then slaps her, going, "Buff!" and says, "I'll be back." He goes, And now time for the graduation time. Time for them to do it. Christian says, "I'll build up a lot of chakra and then shoot it." He says, "Now, Christian. It's Christian Uzum Namikaze, it's your turn." Christian goes, "Ah!" with full bursts of chakra going, and then boom! 300, about a clones that fill up the classroom. He creates all of them. He says, "Well, I did that, and also they're transformed as Iruka." They all say, "Iruka-sensei, why did you do that for him?" He says, "I didn't actually do anything. That was him." And Iruka's jaws dropped. He goes, You're transformed into me and created clones that scatter around this entire classroom." He goes, "Yep." Now, so I got Kurama. He says, "Yes, but he has the nicer half." I'm not saying Naruto has the little bit nicer half. So Christian says, "Alright," and Christian from his Mindscape watches Ashura and Indra battle out, doing sparring. Then when Ashura and Indra activate their Susanoo and Susanoo, Christian says, Whoa, there isn't enough room in my Mindscape, you're gonna crush the walls." They go, "Sorry." He says, "Just turn into something like like you. Ashura, turn into the wood golem, and you turn into the smaller Susanoo. I mean, like, seriously, my guy, you guys are going too far." He goes, "When will I be able to get a robe like you guys? This looks awesome." He says, "This looks amazing." He says, "What am I gonna tell my parents if they ask me why I'm wearing a robe like the Sage of Six Paths?" Kaguruma says, tell them that you found it online. Tell them that you got it shipped one day, or like you went out of the village one day and bought it. Or like it was last in stock and then you bought it. Kristen says, alright, that seems good. Alright, when they get home, Kristen says, Kaguruma gives him the Garpy says, nice! This is nice. When Christian walks out, Kushina says, Christian, where did you get that? Minato says, how the hell did you even get that? She says, language. He goes, sorry. Christian says, I bought it one day. It was like the last one at the leaf store. There was one that a store closed down from that I bought. And it was last in stock. Naruto says, that looks so ugly. Kristen says, wait, do you guys hear that? Guys, I think I hear someone. Oh wait, I don't hear anything. Did you guys hear that? Naruto says, no you idiot. Exactly. And did you also hear when I asked for your opinion? Instantly Naruto goes, why you little? He goes to punch. Christian says, yeet, and puts out one finger blocking it saying, that's why I love Nestle Crunch. Smack. No, she goes to punch him and he says, that's why I like Nestle Crunch, and pushes his finger forward and she goes flying back. He goes and goes, hey, no one messing with me. Wag, 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 wag. No one messing with me anymore. Then when he gets to school, Sasuke actually compliments, saying, how'd you get that? Isn't that... Then he says, isn't that the robe of the Sage of Six Packs? Christian says, yeah, I found it in a store that was the last one. Sasuke says, I don't believe you. Christian says, you don't have to. Who said you had to believe me? Christian is sitting next to Sasuke since he's the only one who has a cool. Literally, everyone else in the class does not shut up. I mean, he would go sit with Shikamaru, but yeah, he doesn't want to since Ino's there and she's annoying. Sasuke says, why don't you sit with anybody else? Christian says, because everyone else here is annoying. Sasuke says, I know, right? Christian says, shut up, honestly. Like, that's just dumb. Sakura says, hey, don't talk to Sasuke way, you're so dumb. Christian says the one who's literally the worst one in the class in taijutsu, ninjutsu, and genjutsu. Your only literal thing, I don't even know how you passed. Your chakra, you have good chakra control, so what? You don't know no ninjutsu, you know it's a simple clone, guess what? Kagebushi no jutsu. Creating clones, he says. There you go. What can you do? Oh, say cha-ha. Have a dumb spirit in your head who says all the things that you want to say, but you really can't. He says, whoa. How did you know that? Christian says, wait, you actually have that? He says, say your things out loud and just don't be afraid what people say. Honestly. Then she says, get out of my way, I don't want to sit next to Sasuke. Person says, hey look, Sasuke's actually sitting over there, this is a clone. Watch. And pokes that Sasuke, and where he poofs. He says, see, over there. She goes, Sasuke! Then he poofs and comes back saying, see? He says, found it. And they both fist bump going, yeet. She says, Sasuke wasn't, once she went up to go at least touch Sasuke, he just poofed. He says, Why you so dum 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 dum? Christian says, I hope we're on the same team, Sasuke, because I do not want to be annoyed. I hope I'm not on the same team as Naruto. Whoa, 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 whoa. Then, out of nowhere, Naruto just sits and goes and gazes at Sasuke. Christian says, Naruto, you might want to get back. He says, no. Christian says, whoa, whoa, whoa. Christian talks to the guy in front of Naruto saying, please do not move your arm. He says, I don't want to have a dead brother. He goes, what do you mean? He looks and says, oh, shoot. Then, when he accidentally goes and moves back, hits Naruto, Christian puts his hand in front saying, don't do it! He goes, shit, and says, my hand wasn't even, and then they kiss. Christian goes, come on. When they kiss, Christian goes,
oh shit.
no, hold on. When Naruto and Sasuke kiss, Christian goes, he goes out of nowhere, out of the blue, he says,
Oh shit.
and then he looks at them and goes,
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Sasuke says, wait, this has happened before? Christian goes, no. But, here we go again means Naruto's about to get killed. He says, you might want to put up a barrier or something. He says, wait, why aren't you two spinning right now? They go, then Naruto and Sasuke realize, and then they go, oh yeah, we literally did just kiss. Naruto goes, and they spit like crazy. Christian walks by the girls and says, you're all going to hell. Goodbye. They turn their attention to him, and he says, what are you guys looking at? There's literally no one there. And they see him back over there. Well, him and Sasuke are spitting out because they just kissed each other. Christian goes, well, Naruto, see you in the afterlife. He says, come on, Christian, please help me. I don't want to die. Christian says, I don't know. Should I? He goes, come on, please, I don't want to die. Christian says, don't we all not want to die? He says, oh, yeah, Sasuke. If he doesn't move, you're gonna get caught in the mess with this. You might get punched in the face. So, you might want to move. Naruto is frozen in fear. Christian says, oh, fine, you idiot. They all rush at him with Naruto in the lead, ready to beat the crap out of him. Christian says, nope. And fine, Raishin's Naruto away. Well, he's still there. And teleports Naruto to the other side of the classroom where they don't see him. She goes, you too, we're gonna destroy you. Christian says, what did I do? I tried to prevent it. And I don't even like Sasuke. He not even has a friend. He ain't even my friend. I just sit next to him because he's quiet, unlike the rest of you are loudmouths. Christian says, one more step and I will seriously strangle you all. You all are the most annoying classmates I have ever had. They say, shut up, and they all rush at him. He says, that's it. And throws a smoke bomb down in front of them. They go, he says, no, here goes nothing. Sasuke says, you might want to get out of the way. He goes, yeah, okay. Christian says, wind style, Gale Palm! Then rushes in going, he goes, no, he jumps in there and says, Christian jumps in there and says, that's it. Y'all are annoying AF, so I'm just gonna end it all. He goes, Christian looks at them going, no, that's just Dio going Jojo. With Jojo going... When he jumps in there, he says, "Wind style, Gale Palm," and goes. Then when the smoke clears, he's back at his seat, and all the people who went after Sasuke are on the ground. He says, "Oh, thank you, Jesus Lord. I didn't have to deal with beating up and screaming. All I had to do was yell with wind style Gale Palm, and they're all destroyed." Instead of Naruto with all kind of bruises, it's them. And he didn't even actually hit them. He just used wind style Gale Palm. He didn't even touch them. He just used his Gale Palm and just shot with the air. He says, "Teacher, he hit us." Iruka says, "No, he didn't actually. I actually looked in it. He actually didn't hit you all. He just used the wind style Gale Palm and just blasted you all. So technically he didn't hit you." Christian says, "In your face. Ay. Kristen then Flying Raijin to Naruto, and Flying Raijin's back saying, "Well, there we go." He says, "Please don't get me on a team with that one. There's two people I don't want to be on a team with. Please tell me I'm on a team with Naruto and Sasuke. They're the least annoying." Then, out of nowhere, he says, "Team 7. Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha." Christian says, "Come on, me. And Sakura Haruno." Christian goes, "Shit." And then he goes, "Ah!" Yelling, bursting his chakra. He goes, "Ah, damn it! I want to be on a team with them because they're the least annoying in the class. Everyone else here is like a freaking music box that goes diddle-diddle-oo." Then after his little outburst, he goes, "Hello." Then he cradles up going, he goes and says, he goes,
"Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again."
he goes, and after that, everyone goes, "What the?" Then he goes, then Christian goes, "I swear to Gerd, if I am on a team..." Christian appears right behind Haruka saying, in front of Haruka saying, "I swear to God, if I am on a team with Miss Blondie over there, not Yamanaka, I wouldn't really care, because she's not as annoying. If I am with Naruto and Karuto, I will physically and destroy this classroom." He says, "Well, I'm sorry, but that's the team." Christian goes, "Fuck!" Christian goes, hello, darkness, my old friend. I come to see you. I come to talk to you again. And he's like, why am I on a team with those two? I would literally take to be on a team with anyone else. He goes, your squad leader should be here soon. Christian says, I swear to God. And I'm just gonna say it's like freaking Anko. He says, Christian is staring at a wall going, well, Naruto is fangirl is yelling, saying that it's not fair, that's that useless Billboard Rao is on a team with Sasuke. While Naruto is just complaining, saying that this is the dumbest thing ever. When Anko walks in, she says, is he okay? And she points at Kirsten, he says, no, I'm not okay. I'm stuck on a team with the most idiotic people in the entire class. Naruto Uzumaki, the most annoying person in the world. Fangirls over Sasuke and gets into a fight with Sakura and wins every single time, and then uses her advantage that she's the Hokage's daughter, so Sakura will leave her alone. That is the most annoying thing. He says, look, we will do a bell test. If you can get the bells all on your own, you will be moved to Team 7. He goes, really? Really? And immediately blitzes around saying, really? Are you serious? Are you serious? Please, please, please! I will literally go all out if you say yes. He says, yes. He says, you really hate being on a team with them. Christian says, yes, I do! These guys are so flipping annoying! He says, alright, well, I don't really need to know introductions because I already know who you guys are. Christian rushes home and he's like, yes! Yes! Then he runs around the house, even running on the walls, going, yes! Christian says, did you get on the team you wanted? Christian says, no, I didn't. I got on the team that I didn't want to be on. He says, who are you with? Christian says, Naruto and Karuto. The most annoying people in the class. She says, but they're your brother and sister. Christian says, Naruto's on an amazing team, besides Sakura. He says, I am literally on stuck. But, she says, then why are you happy? Christian says, because Anko says if I get both bells, she'll move me to Team 7. He goes, I will try my hardest. Now, Naruto, when she heard that, rushes home and says, and she says in her head, I'm gonna make sure he does not get those bells. I'm gonna make sure that he oversleeps all night and make sure he's too tired to even move. Christian says, I already know Naruto's plotting things. He says, sealing jutsu, and seals up his door so no one can get in. Then he goes to sleep, going, sleeping, and she can't break down the door. Christian goes, lovely morning. Christian goes, a lovely morning. Then seals open the door to a punch in the nose. He goes, damn it! What the hell? And it was from Naruto and Naruto saying, actually it's Karuto. He says, damn it, what the hell? She says, I'm gonna make sure you're not on the team with Sasuke. So now we're just gonna beat you up until you finally understand, so you can't get there. And they literally keep him in there, beating him up. He goes, Christian says, you realize that you won't be able to see Sasuke ever again if you keep on keeping me here. He goes, she says, we don't care. Then punches him in the nose, making his nose bleed even more. He says, joke's on you. Christian stabs himself and then poofs. She goes, what the? He leaves a note, and then a note drops saying, I was a clone this entire night. Ha 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 ha. Losers, now you're late. Anko is really, really triggered. He says, well, I'm the only one here. Then when Naruto gets there and Karuto, they see, Anko says, why do you have blood on your hand? She says, we have to take out the trash. Christian says, all they did was beat up my clone. He says, that's why my nose is bleeding. They literally beat up my nose. They literally punched my clone in the nose like 5 times to try and sabotage me. She says, how can you know that? That was a clone. Christian says, exactly. I share the thoughts of my clone. She says, whatever. Christian says, alright. Anko says, you cannot hold them down or something. You have to try and get them. Christian says, alright, I'm down. When it starts, Christian says, wind style, get Paul! And rushes in like their freaking gentle step twin lion fist and goes trying to blast her, going, this nice try, Anko, and says, wind style, air bullet! Hitting her with full force, hitting her with that. He says, now! He says, Katon, Gokakyu! Shooting a fireball. Anko shoots back with her own dragon flame. Christian says, water style! Water, liquid bullet! One quick snipe hits Anko. She goes, ah! He goes, that Nori's kicked in the back. He goes, damn it, Naruto. Then Anko kicks him into the water. He goes, tuh, and falls into the water. Then Naruto jumps and kicks him down into the water. Remember, they're on the team, but she does not want him to be on Sasuke, so she tries to freaking drown him. He goes, looks like here. He says in his head, here goes nothing. Pulls out a kunai and stabs Naruto in the leg, but misses. She goes, holding him down even more. He says, I only got one more option. He goes, I've only used this technique a couple of times when I'm being binded. He opens his mouth going, ah, yeah. He says, Naruto has used this technique to bite people if they always try and hurt you. He bites out and goes, ah, and blasts up in the air. He goes, eat that. She goes, then he says, now my plan. He says, lightning style, lightning orb, and hits it into there, and uses it and hits through the thing so he can go through and dig through. He goes, digging under. Then when he senses Anko right above him and says, Earth style, headhunter jutsu, and pulls her under, going, yeah. He says, haha. Then, but when he pulls her down, he snatches the bells, going, gotcha. He says, Naruto says, teacher, he beat me up. She says, is this true? Kristen says, I bit her because she was trying to drown me. She says, Naruto, I believe him more than you since all the stupid shenanigans you've tried. She says, so well, since you got 2 of the bells, you were allowed to go to Team Kakashi. Remember, I'm going to say that Team Kakashi's bell test was one day after Anko's. Christian says, yeah! What's his mom saying? Mom, I made it onto Team Kakashi! She goes, you did? He says, yep, even though my own sister tried to drown me, it was worth it! Kushina says, she did what? Kristen goes, oh, yeah, Naruto did try and drown me. She says, that little? Kristen says, don't worry, she got her payback. Kristen says, what'd you do? Kristen says, well, in the water, I bit her, so then she flew up in the air. Kristen kicks down Naruto's door saying, Naruto! He says, we're on the same team! He goes, how? Kristen says, Anko made a deal with me to say, if I took both bells, I could go on Team Kakashi since I absolutely hate my team. Kristen says, and now Naruto and Taruto are literally giving up being shinobi, are just going to be like bullies now. I think they're just going to start being bullies now, full on. Kristen goes, I want, Then moving on to the bell test. The real bell test. But before that, when they wake up, Christian wakes up to a malevolent surprise. He can't move, because he's pinned to a damn wall. He says, "What the?" Then Naruto kicks down his door, and then has tons of shuriken. She throws all of them at him, and he's dodging all of them, going. And he's dodging all the hits. He goes. Then Naruto runs to Kushina, saying that Christian put all kinds of shuriken in the wall. Christian opens his window and jumps out, and then closes it, saying, "Stupid Naruto." Then heads to the field. He goes, then jumps. Sasuke says, "Christian, what are you doing here?" Christian says, "Anko said that if I got both bells by myself, then I could come, because I really hate my team." He says, "Well, glad to add you on Team 7. Christian says, "I'm just gonna sleep. Since I almost got hit." Christian says, "There's nothing I can really do, except that I'm kinda sad. I'm kinda mad." He says, "What are you mad about?" Christian says, "Oh, nothing. Maybe that my sister tried to kill me with shuriken in the morning, and then tried to blame it on me that I threw shuriken at her. That I threw shuriken at my wall. She's literally a brat. And apparently she's still going to be on a team with Anko. And it's just going to be them two." He said, Kakashi already got the alert saying, and when Sakura arrives, Sakura says, "I think you're in a different thing. You're not supposed to be here." Christian says, "Oh no, I am." Christian says, I was told that if I got the bells from Anko even said this, I could go to Team 7. And I'm happy about that, except for the fact that you're here. So that's my one quick problem. She says, "But too bad. I was originally chosen on Team Kakashi." Christian says, "Does it look like I care what you were chosen on? You ain't special." That's what I